Living happiness is about the general way that we live our lives, that we think about our own happiness. Doing happiness is really about activities. And there is a lot of research about special experiences that can help us to have peak experience, and these are the moments that we're happy. Flow, in the words of Csikszentmihalyi. And work happiness, for me, it refers to happiness at work. We are spending a large amount of our time in the office, and if we are happy in that time, if we are enjoying working together with our colleagues, if we have tasks that stimulate us, it really affects how we feel in the workplace, but also at home and in our life more generally. And often we speak about work-life balance, and I think that is a bit of a false construct, because work is a part of life. They are not two separated things. And I think that happiness at work is really something that is what organizations, but also public administrations and regions need to think of, because ultimately the people that have to realize the well-being policies and work for quality of life and well-being in the country, they also have to be happy in their job, in their position. Otherwise, it's very difficult to fulfill this promise and bring well-being to the people. When it's about skills for happiness, I think you can also distinguish between on a personal level and on a level of society or community. And on the personal level, a lot is about perception. Two people can have exactly the same experience, and for one person it can be adventure, maybe like bus rides through a place you don't know, and for someone else it can be very horrible, because they might think that they are going to get lost or that someone is going to rob them, etc. So perception is a very important part, and I think positivity can help, and it's something that you can also practice and train a bit. And being positive doesn't mean that everything is perfect, because sometimes there are moments where you are sad or disappointed, or there are people who are suffering. But I think happiness is for a large part is being grateful with what you have. And then when you look at the part of society, it is a very important element there is social relationships. So it is creating communities, people who are active, who are working towards different goals together as a team. That is really something that makes them happy and that makes communities vital. By an attitude, and it's an attitude that you can practice. I come from Brussels in Belgium. And in Belgium, the weather changes a lot. So it's very possible that in a day, in the morning, it's raining. Then at lunchtime, the sun is shining. And in the evening, it might even be snowing. And people are different, because some people remember the moment that it's raining. And they are sad, and they don't have energy, and they stand like this. Other people, well, they know that it's raining, but they don't pay too much attention to this. And when the sun is there, they go out, they walk through the park, they get a bit of vitamin D and get some color in their face. And this is something that you can teach yourself in a way to pay attention to the things that are good. That doesn't mean that it isn't raining. It is still raining, and I don't know, if you have a new haircut or you're wearing shoes that are not so practical, it's still damn annoying, but it affects you less if you choose, or if you try to tell yourself that it shouldn't bother you too much. And this is really something that you can do. I think when it is about gross domestic products and well-being policies to complement that, it's very important to keep the good parts of gross domestic product and economic growth. There is a lot of research about economic growth, and it shows that when incomes are increasing, happiness are increasing to a certain extent. So people in poverty tend to be unhappy, and when they become richer, they also become happier. But when you look at developed, rich countries, this link, this correlation is disappearing. If you go from, I don't know, $100,000 or euros to 110, it doesn't make that much difference. At the same time, we live in a planet which is ending. We live in countries often with social inequality. So I think the challenge for governments there is to move away from the mere goal to increase wealth, but to find ways to keep the environment and to distribute wealth in the right way. And for me, that is what well-being policies such as cross-national happiness are about. I think there is a great thing about happiness in Latin America, and I used to refer this as the Latin American happiness bonus, because if you look at objective factors, there are many things in Latin America that can be a lot better and that can be improved. But at the same time, the happiness level are quite a high level, higher than you would expect normally looking at economic data. And I think there are a couple of factors, and a very important one is social relationships and community. The fact that people here, family cultures, family ties are stronger than they are, for instance, in the United States or in some Northern European countries. People can rely more on each other. And I think there is also something about a general more positive attitudes that is visible. And one example that I heard of visiting here is about fiesta and the quinceañera, and this being a sort of an example of the Mexican mentality on how life should be. And I think that is probably an important factor, and that helps.